Hey everyone, this is Tracy with Color Me This. We're on episode 140 today, doing the daily color in small victories. The set for today, by random number generator, thanks to Excel, is the Artisto 72 set, which I have spent very little time with. So I have spent the time to actually put these in a case. They were actually put in a big case with another set, and that big case is usually my work case when I'm doing anything out in the garage with the pencils. So I finally got them their own case, and I've figured out a little bit different color order than they were in that I like better. And I haven't done the test with the white on black, so I have my black book today, and I am going to take the white and I'm going to rotate this a little bit so that I can be at a better angle to do my line. So I've seen that these also, somewhat like the Black Widow, they have some people that love them, some people can't stand them. They can blend them, they can't blend them, so it's just a big mix. So let's just see what I come up with today. I'm seeing that this is bright, like I see Derwent drawing standing out to me. Evazar. The Museum Aquarelle is not quite as bright as these two, but I like that one because you can use it wet. And I'm gonna move the light away. The Castle Arts Gold I did recently and really liked that white. So I would say that this is definitely in the brighter group of whites. Artisto. And there is only one white. There is a 48 set and a 72 set. Everybody who does like them, that is in the camp of like love, wants more colors, of course. So our page for today is a set of 6 very simple bouquets tied with some sort of string. So here's what I've decided. I am going to use one color for the color of the flowers, 3 or 4. Do I have any 2s? Nope, none of them. Oh yes, one is only 2 colors. So I'm going to go in color family order, starting with yellow, orange, red. I want to have my thing tilted more. I'm going to tilt it a little bit back this way. Somewhat, even more. The book with because whenever we're on the left side to color, I need more room on the right to have the right side hang out. Okay, so the middle row is red. Sorry, red was up here. Pink, purple, light blue. I broke up the blues because there are more blues. And this is dark blue. Oh, and then this was such a simple little spriglet. Aqua and green. Specifically the mint green family, and I'm only using 2. This is another one with the 2. So I'm using 2 greens for the leaves, keeping them quite simple. I think I'm going to go ahead and do that first. The lettering on these and the numbers are very difficult to read. I can tilt it at an angle and see it pretty good with the light. It's all a matter of the trick of the reflection to be able to read. I do appreciate that the numbers are in a block taller font, but I am not very pleased that they chose just like the Black Widow, to do some sort of scrolly upper lower case. So some of the words are pretty difficult to read. So starting with the dark green, which I will have all the colors in the description. Basil green A322. I don't know if you guys do this, but when I do my swatches, I do not put the letter, if there's a letter in front of the number, and if there's a leading zero in some of the numbers, I won't use the leading zero. If it's 032 and right next to it is a 125, I just put 32. So now we have these little spriglets, and I'm going to go ahead on this and randomly pick some to be green. So this is all to explore single color palettes. I think that's all I'm going to do green on that. So thank you for joining me today, and welcome back if you are returning. I am doing a daily color because I wanted to get myself comfortable coloring in coloring books, which I own many, but I've always made copies on my printer. I do a lot of digital coloring and my own art, mostly animals and nature. So this book just is the perfect size for me to get started with. It is not intimidating to me. And I've been doing this for 2 months. The end of March is when I started. So I'm into my 3rd month now. And I try to stick with more of the basics. Sometimes I do a little bit of bling, but mostly it is all about the colored pencils and getting to know all of the sets that I own. So we work on mostly the images, not a lot of backgrounds. Someday I might branch out into exciting backgrounds. But for now, it's just all about coloring these little images, getting to know my pencils really well. Each time I rotate through the pencil set, I try to do a little bit more of organizing, storing. You know, if it came in like the Artisto, they came in and I had no storage freed up at the time. The 172 set that I did have was actually being used. I run a coloring group, and I had somebody buy a set of 72 prangs, and so I was working in that case for them, because the easiest way to sort pencils is to be able to put them in a single pencil elastic case that you can move them very quickly as you figure out what order you want. And it ended up that these 72s, the barrels do not match, and that is probably why they were so darn cheap. A deal that she couldn't pass up. So we've got those all organized, and I just got them moved into her case, which freed up the case for these to go into. Make sure I'm not missing any leaves. Yesterday's coloring, I missed a couple as I went along. Okay, so we've got some sort of ferny leaves, as I call these, the sprigs. Did I tell you? I told you the second color. I told you that I was using A322, but I don't think I told you that I was using pistachio green A319. Yesterday I used the Color, actually 2 days in a row I used the Color full color barrels, and I thought they did really well. I actually colored with what I would call a limited palette of 5 main colors, and I didn't use white or a highlight really. I started to, but then I changed my mind, and so it came out all colors, and my husband looked at it. So funny, because I think it looks just fine. My mom, she thinks it looks just fine. My husband looked at it and he goes, "What's this? This doesn't look like something you've colored. You didn't add any shadows, you didn't add any white." And I said, "Well, I was trying to just keep things simple, and just because I do love the feel of the colors, it was just fun to just keep the color down on the paper and fill the whole darn thing in." Definitely not my normal way of coloring, and I really enjoyed it. Sometimes you color more than for just making an image look perfect. Okay, so that one's done. Moving on here to this one. Has lots of little teeny tiny leaves. I don't even know if we're going to be able to see the dark and light, but I'm going to do it this way anyways. My minor goal, we'll see if it's even possible, is I'll have 2 goals. First, I'd like to be able to try to color with the 2, 3, and a couple of them have 4. If it's a bigger bouquet, I've allowed 4 colors. I want to see if I can make each flower a little bit different. And then I also, which is probably the harder goal, since I am a slow colorist, these points that's a soft enough pencil that I feel that the points need to be kept sharp. And I do have to sharpen them. Like yesterday, I had to sharpen the colors too. They're very soft. I wouldn't call these very soft. They are softish. Now I forgot what I was saying. So it's always my goal to finish, and I would love to finish this whole thing. Oh, but I am a very slow colorer. Coloring for 45 minutes time boxes me, and actually, depending on what I am doing, I find that I can, I wonder. I'm going to zoom in to each individual. Oh, because these are so small. And that way each image, if I had a better, I'm sitting in the recliner with a clipboard, so it's not very easy for me to color vertically. I did the images were very vertical, and it was really awkward. And I try not to have my hands get stressed out holding things in awkward positions. But I definitely can zoom in like this, so hopefully you can see the rest of everything I'm doing. And we will see if I can get this thing colored, the whole thing. So then our next image, moving on, is 35 flowers, little circle flowers. And I have to see, I really want to just bring out They're so small, there's not going to be a lot of depth or blending, anything like that. I mean, a little bit. So I'm looking kind of at them while I'm coloring, and they have one kind of flower for the most part. And a couple of them have multiples. And then one or two kinds of leaves or pom-poms or a sprig. And so I should be able to pick out, let's say, no more than 7 colors, 7 individual pencils. And for the most part, my pencils are now, I have made sure to put them in cases. Even if it's a temporary case, they are in cases. So I should be able to take maybe 3 of my circle pencil holders, and maybe have, I could even do 4. And I could have everything set up ahead of time. And I don't think it will be a day, but it might be 2 to 3. And if it's 3, that could be the remainder of my week, is fleshing out that whole page. And that would be a lot of fun and something very different for me. I'm working on my speed. I am just not even going to bother making all of those dark. That is too small. I am way more comfortable coloring flowers than I am food. So I found out, because 2 pages back we had to do the sweets, and I guess it's junk food because there's a hamburger. And that was out of my comfort zone, but I did all right. I kind of didn't even know what some of this stuff was on the page. And technically, I don't know what these flowers are. And so I just make up my colors. And that's what I did with the food. And I had a really good time using a brand new to me pencil that I have not worked with, aside from very quick swatches in preparation for the page. And that was the Orangutans. They were very surprisingly pleasant. All right, I'm gonna be calling the greens done. And we're going to, it has a nice cohesive look so far. I'm going to do something even crazier. Just wherever I'm at, I am grabbing my pencils. I'm not going in order from yellow color family to the bottom. I am going to be somewhat random. So I have 4 colors for my reds. The barrels, I can tell you on these, are not a true indicator of the color. The color swatches that I'm looking at to help guide me, I'm missing one of the swatches. Here it is. The reds, if I sneak this in here, we have 5 reds. I actually took these 3, and it is an orange red, a middle red, and a dark red. They definitely are 3 distinct colors. But here are the 3 barrels. And I think if I rotate it, my recollection is that the darkest red is Imperial Red, but yet Crimson Red, which is the middle one, is the top. So the barrels on these, they're very close. So I highly recommend that you swatch if you haven't swatched, and you'll have to use the swatches. You can, I'm looking at the tips, and the tips are pretty good. Light, medium, darkest. So then I grabbed a shadow color, mahogany red. And each of my reds are going to be, well, first I have to get up here. The red is this one. The first one I am going to make awfully dark. Because of the little doodads in the middle, it helps me to do my veining lines rather than ovals. I am also going to take one of these little tiny flowers. So I said that the green is going to be the same on every one. I am also going to use, except for the orange flowers, I will be using yellow on the orange flowers and a yellow-orange for the centers of the rest of the flowers. I could have done that, but I just was sitting there staring at these reds and wanted to do something with them. And I think for the variation, for the most part, they're going to be, here's how I'm going to work it, although some of them have multiple flowers, you know, multiple styles of flowers. All right, so this should be my lightest. It is scarlet. And so, let's see if I can, I don't often do this where I am mapping it out. This one actually doesn't go too well with it. Trying to leave the little tiny circles not colored. Which one is this? Crimson. And crimson's the middle one. I see I'm doing circles on this one. I also have white. I might do some blending with white depending on what I feel I need. Imperial red. Imperial red is the darkest of the reds before we hit the burgundy. Not even use all 4 reds on all 3 of the bigger flowers because they're still pretty darn small. Because I'd like this one to have some extra white left on it. I've grabbed the crimson again. Scarlet is the lightest orangest red. Okay, so let's see if I can make these come together pretty quickly. Where is my white? I see the white. It's a very bright white. I'm going to work on the bow really quick. Where's my darkest red? That's Imperial. See, it doesn't look the darkest red to me. Trying to attempt a little bit of highlights. Grabbing the white. All right. My last little bit. I want this to have a little more depth in the middle, but not necessarily that dark burgundy only. All right. Moving right along. See, you could just fuss and fuss and fuss. I am putting the white back, reds off to the side, out of the way. I have two purples here. So purple are the little daisies. I don't really think that daisies are purple, but in my world they are. Teeny tiny string holding it all together. Let's see if I can lighten that up a little bit. Because this is the flower bouquet I picked for purple, and one of them had to be purple, I went with only two. So how do these pencils feel? These feel somewhat buttery, nowhere near as soft as the Colors, but a very quiet feeling. Glide across the paper. They do very well on this smooth Johanna Basford paper. They have a pretty large core, so when I was doing my swatches on the Nina Bristol Vellum, they cover the ground really quickly. So they can cover a big area very quick. The colors are pretty fast, but they have a very small core. Look at that, done. The only thing that I could do, keeping the white always handy. I don't even know if this is really necessary. All right. I hope you could see that. I'm focusing on what I'm doing. All right, I picked two next to it, the light blue right here. I will do my best to vary them. I figure the purple and these light blue will be the quickest. What I'm finding too when I'm filming, this side of the book with the spine in the middle here, this side is a little different magnification than the spine side, so I apologize for that. Since I can't really make it B flat, I mean, I suppose I could put something underneath. I would have to find something at least as big as the book to go underneath, so maybe I will explore that, because it does really annoy me. I want it to be perfectly clear what I am doing. All right, done. I'm saving the centers for last. Let's do what I have nearby now. Why are we shaking? I must have bumped it. Okay, greens are blue-green, a light, a medium, and a dark. We have aquamarine, mint, and pine green. A338, A320, A347. Starting with the dark. Move it to the middle more. I'm going to do this exactly like I did the light blue with just some random, and I have three pencils instead of two. See, now I find that these blend really nice. I haven't had any issues. So for people who have a problem blending with these, I'm not sure, maybe it's probably the paper, more than likely. Alrighty. See how fast that is? It's really fun to do fast projects. I'm going to actually have half of this be dark. And there we go. Nice, just a little reflection. Let's move up here. I think we have more fans going today, I've noticed. When the fan is going, doing the oranges, I said, right? I have 3 oranges. These are pretty traditional colors. Basically a yellow ochre is the lightest, A316, A317 orange, and A318 orange red. Starting with the darkest color. On this, I am trying to vary. Sometimes I'll go in the center to the same, like halfway across the petal, and then it kind of looks artificial, so I'm trying to vary my lines up. That is so funny that the camera stand that it's on, which is a flexible one, is pretty shaky today. All right, so that one is ready. Like the colors, I'm going to say that the yellow oranges are the creamiest of the color palette. I am hardly putting any pressure on this, just whisper soft. All right. darkest orange coming back in for just a little bit of some shading. These little 4-petal flowers I'm sort of doing like hydrangeas with the multiple colors, but leaning more towards white since we already have the daisies with all the color. Right. I am setting those down. Going on to the pink, which is right in front of me. The pinks are, the lightest pink I wasn't really too interested in using. I want this to be a bright page. So the lightest pink is Rouge Pink 342, Raspberry A331, and Berry Red A336. Okay, and this one, I really wanted, this is the one that does not have the tie. I think it's the only one that has absolutely no, I mean, there's like the tiniest bit of area for pink. And I want this largest flower. This is probably the rosy-ish-ist flower. Looks somewhat like a rose, but pretty regular. Petals. And the big one I want to be light to emphasize the pink, since I went with darker pinks. So this is how I'm getting my lightest pink. Easy peasy and done. Now with my darkest pink, going in the center, spiraling out. We're at 44 minutes. Oh my gosh, I'm not going to finish. I'm going to have 2 colors left. No, 3. All right, well, I can do that. I had a problem with my lamp placement, so I might go a little bit over. Okay, so for the one on the left, I'm going right to the lightest pink. For the flower on the right, I'm doing the middle pink. All right, so all 3 look different. Setting that down, going to yellow. Uh-oh. I won't tell you what just happened there. Okay, I have 2 yellows and a cream. So I'm going with light goldenrod A312, canary A313, and bumblebee yellow A315. And we have these little, also daisy-like flowers. Yellows are going to be more difficult to show the variation. So this one, I'm going to make this one mostly the darkest. This is our light creamy color. I have this middle yellow. I think I'm going to use the middle yellow right here. Okay. So that's what we've got so far. I've got 2 colors left tomorrow. So what I might do is get ready tomorrow, get these because I've already got the colors picked, and get started. This is our big wall of flowers in little circles. There are 35 of them altogether. I hope you enjoyed seeing me use these same colors on an entire bouquet. We will finish it up tomorrow. Do all the YouTube things, like, share, comment, and consider subscribing. And I will see you all tomorrow for yet more flower coloring. See you then.